all I can do right now. Just clap. Let's wait for a few people to tune in. Just clapping for the boys. Here we go, Timmy. Very good. That was nice. And also frustrating for a different reason, but I'll flag that during the video. Let's just wait for a few people to tune in. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Hope you're all having a great Saturday. I know I am. That was that last quarter in particular was beautiful. That's the best way I can put it. That was a sexy last quarter. We tore Sydney Swans to shreds in that last quarter. It was weird watching the team and actually seeing them put a team to the sword that easily, particularly because that third quarter was such a trouble for us, and third quarters have been troublesome all season for us. But the way we responded in that last quarter, I think we kicked 7-1 in that last term to run out 53-point win. It's the first time we've beaten Sydney since 2012. All sorts of records were broken there. I mean, I think that's our biggest win of the season. That's our biggest score of the season. That's the first time in 3 seasons that we've won 3 games in a row. And it's also the first time we've beaten Sydney since 2012, 2013. So everything there accumulates to a phenomenal performance, you know, led off the back of players like Nick Hind, who's bobbed up with 3 goals. Max King's kicked his 3, career high, which is outstanding. Gresham was phenomenal from start to finish, kicking 2 goals, having close to 20 possessions. Just so happy with the performance. And it was such a mature performance because we came knowing that, you know, we've dropped games previously. You know, we've dropped games against Fremantle, against North Melbourne, most notably Fremantle. And we were worried, you know, fans commenting on the page were worried that we were going to be complacent. You know, we don't want to give up a big opportunity to secure ourselves as a top 4 contender and a top 8 team. And that third quarter was worrying, as it always has been for the season. I don't know what happens in the halftime huddles or the halftime rooms where they have a chat, but it's something that we need to deal with. But the fact that we can, you know, look at the last 2 weeks and know that we've put the top team to the sword in Port Adelaide and kicking 5-0 in the last term. Today we've kicked 7-1 and we've run out massive winners, kicking over 100 points in shortened quarters. There's not much more you could ask. You know, I thought Rowan Marshall, again, with Paddy Ryder, killed Sinclair. I thought our backline was impressive. I thought Nick Caulfield was exceptional. The amount of ball that he got when he just put himself in the right positions was great. 18 or 19 possessions. Brad Hill was good early. Patton on Papley was great. You know, we talked about it midweek. You know, who was going to go on Papley? Was it Geary? Will Patton? I suggested Patton. So did the other guys in the podcast. And they did the job. You know, they all did the job. Zachy Jones kicking goal against his old team was great. Membry not kicking goal and us kicking over 15. You know, you wouldn't have tipped that. And to be fair, I just want to point this out. This is the second week in a row I've been a goal away from winning a significant multi. This week, my mate and I, we put a multi on. It was about a 12-leg multi. We got all of them right. We just needed Membry to kick 1 goal and we would have won $4,000. And we had every other leg of the multi ticked off with 8 minutes to go. Membry, we just needed to kick a damn goal and he couldn't do it. So that's 2 weeks in a row I'm a goal away from winning. But that doesn't matter because we got the win. We were impressive. I loved the way we played our footy. We were fast. And, you know, credit to Sydney in the first half. They played on. They wanted to go through the guts. They're the number 1 central going through the corridor team in the AFL in the last month. They got that going in the second and third terms. But to our credit, we worked on that. We stopped them in the last quarter and we made significant improvements going inside 50. We didn't just bomb it. We lowered our eyes. But it was the ground ball. It was like the Butlers, the Parkers, the Hinds, the Greshams, the Battles, the left foot snap from Battle. You know, he was good. Everyone was good. Savage did some really nice things. He was a late in for Seb Ross. He stood up. there was no one there that I could say did a shit job. You know, that's the second week in a row where we can look at the performance and say, well, everyone played their role. We took care of a opposition that we haven't beaten in a long time, that we're expected to beat. And although we had a bit of a hiccup in the third quarter, we come out conceding only 6 or 7 goals for the game and kicking over 15 and kicking over 100 points for the first time this season. So there's not really anything that I can think of that, you know, really phases me. You know, we're going to on Thursday night against Gold Coast full of confidence, knowing that, you know, we win that, we are 7 wins from 10 games and a big chance of making finals and also probably retaining a big spot in the top 4. Our percentage is only 3% of Brisbane. And everyone's talking about Brisbane being premiership favourites. We are 1 win and 2% off Brisbane. You know, so we are in great form considering the early days of this team. This team is still yet to play over 10 games together. That's the scary thing. You know, once we get 15 games into these players and they're all gelling together, it's going to be scary opposition for a lot of teams. And the confidence is building. You know, there were times where we were challenged in this game, the third quarter in particular. And that's, you know, Adelaide 2 weeks ago, Port Adelaide last week. Third terms, we concede a lot of inside 50s. I don't know if it's a deliberate ploy to conserve energy for the last quarter, but it's worked the last 3 weeks. Adelaide, we finished the game well. Port Adelaide, we finished the game well. And today, we were unbelievable in that last quarter. Our best quarter of the season. We kicked 7 goals to 1. We finished the game strong. And you can just imagine the confidence in the team right now and looking at the ladder, looking at their performances, knowing that what they're doing is stacking up against the mid-tier teams, against the top teams. Confidence is at an all-time high, and Brett Ratten has done amazing things to this team. So I'm really, really happy. You all be. Everyone asking me where the red wine is. You can probably tell I've had a few glasses upstairs. I've left it down there. I didn't want to promote alcoholism in my videos. It's all about the footy. I'm enjoying the Saints and having a nice glass of red. And seeing, you know, a lot of goals going through the big sticks and a lot of wins coming on in the last few weeks. So happy. In terms of tactics, you know, I think that we dominated. Sydney stopped us in the third term. We started to bomb the ball. We didn't lower our eyes. We didn't connect. And that's when we struggled to get it out of the back 50. But the second the ball gets past halfway and we get it on the offensive, we are so dangerous. We are so scary fast. It's unreal. Nick Hine, Parker, Hill, Gresham was unbelievable. Everyone was great, guys. So there's how many glasses of wine? Only a couple. Being very conservative tonight. I didn't want to be completely smashed talking about the boys. But yeah, very happy about the performance. I'll go through some of the comments now and let's see what you guys think. Let me just scroll all the way to the top. Again, there's been a lot of comments. So thank you very much. Here we go, Jakey. That's from Tim. Amazing. That's from Praz. Toby says, woo, Jakey. Michael says, let's go. Glenn says, oh, yes. Yeah, Jakey from Brett. A lot of happy people. Ben Patton, heroic from Oliver. He did some very nice things. Not only did he keep Papley to 1 goal, who's one of the small forwards in the competition, but he also took some really big marks. Was there one going back with the flight against the fence? He got the 50-metre penalty for. You know, this is someone that's only in his second season of AFL, really. That's so impressive for someone doing that. Everyone, no matter if you're a senior player or a junior player who's just come in, they're putting their bodies on the line, they're playing for the jumper, and they believe in the game plan. That's the most important thing. There's belief in what we're doing. Players, no matter how good the game plan is, if players don't believe it, then execution goes out the window and it's not going to work. But the fact that players are executing and believing in everything Brett Ratten is telling them is credit to Brett Ratten, but also credit to the players for really being mentally tough and listening to the coaches and executing the game plans perfectly. Hi, Jakey. That's from Shane. Fuck yeah, go Saints. That's from Kane. Enjoy it, boys and girls. From Daniel. Oh, when the Saints go marching in from Guy. Knock, knock from Xavier. The beautiful girlfriend's watching, Jess. She watched the game tonight. I was very happy with that. Not with her at the moment, but she's a mad Saint, so glad that she's been watching it. Really balanced game from Chad. Brett, when the Saints, everyone's just singing the song. Mate, how grouse was that from Paddy? Darren says, could just have clapped, then signed off. Would still have been a 5-star review. I know, I should have just done, yep. See you guys. Nah, you got to talk about it. You've got to enjoy it, get the comments out. But yeah, like, that's it. 5-star performance. That's all you got to say. This is from Pete. He's saying, I think the key to success is to recruit all the players in the AFL who supported Saints. I love the Saints. Get on board from Chris. Caulfield, most marks on the ground, plus 15 positives at 88% efficiency. Absolute gun. Him and Hunter Clark are coming on beautifully. They are killing it. Caulfield is getting more and more confident with his body and his skills every week. And that goes across the whole board. Every player is getting more and more confident. It's scary. You know, I don't know if they all believe they can win a premiership right now, but if they all at the same time start believing and executing, geez, it's going to be scary. You know, this is a very young team, and they're only going to get better with, you know, experience, but also recruiting and tactics and coaches. You know, it's going to be hopefully, you know, a lot of wins for the next 4 or 5 years, guys. So we've gone through a lot of tough times, you know, a lot of shitty times, but hopefully this is the time that it's turned around. Where's the Reds, Jakey? That's from Jack. What do you think of Carlisle slapping Rampy's hand? That's from Lockie. I don't, you know, it's not illegal to punch. He didn't punch them. He just kind of tapped his sore spot. And I think it's fair game. If he's injured, fair enough. But he's fair game. There's no special treatment for someone that plays injured. If you're on the ground, you are as fit as anyone else. So for Jake Carlisle to do that, I don't see any problem with it. If he gets a fine, I'd be surprised. If he gets suspended, it's bullshit and the game's soft. Rampy played. He put his hand up to play. Sydney clearly thought he was fit enough. He had a glove. Fair game. I don't see any problem with that. Blair says, number one thing to look at is our percentage. I know, it went up, I think, at least 6 or 7%. So that's a great percentage booster for us. Best game yet. That's from Mark. Savage did enough to keep Ross out. Parker needs a rest. That's from Toby. Yeah, Parker, if, you know, I feel like a few players are going to have a rest come Thursday. Wednesday night we'll get the teams, and I could imagine maybe Seb Ross comes in. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe Bytel debuts finally, and Ryan Burns comes in. But it'll be interesting to see what changes we make, considering we play Thursday against Gold Coast, and then we have a Monday night game against Geelong. Quick turnaround for us. Jordan says votes are 3 votes to Steele, 2 votes to Jones, and 1 to Gresh and Nick Hind. Yeah, I'd probably say the same. To quote Richo, it was positive from Xavier. Great about Ross being out before the game. Enjoyed not seeing him there. Thoughts of him having to fight his way back in or just straight in when fit? Good question. I mean, based on today's performance, we didn't really need him. We had him covered, but if he's fit next week against Gold Coast, maybe it's worth bringing in another senior head against a young team that we're potentially expected to win again. So it could be a good chance to bring him in, maybe with Bytel. So Bytel comes in with an experienced head and he gets his debut like we've all been wanting, but it remains to be seen. We'll just have to wait and see. Prez says, yeah, that's true. That third quarter struggled, but we came back in the fourth, and that was amazing. I know, great response again. We've always seemed, any time that we've struggled, apart from Fremantle, you know, we'll put that hand up and say that was a shit game. Let's not ever talk about that. Every time we've struggled in third terms, we've generally responded. So it's good to see that the team knows when we're down and they know when to lift. Hind or Gresh best on ground? I thought Hind was great, but Gresh was next level for most of the game. I thought his first half was phenomenal. He went quiet in that third term like most of the team, but then he picked up in the last. And I thought when the game needs someone to stand up and to get us going, Gresh got us going. But Nick Hind, 3 goals. That left foot finish was impressive. Hind turning his pockets out, Key's wallet, and the Sydney Swans bring on fire from Marcus. How good is Rats from Xavier? Matt says Patton is solid, top effort. Side note, centre bounces from the umpires were shithouse. They were, but a lot of the time they didn't bring it back. And luckily enough, we got a lot of the tap outs. You know, Paddy Ryder's tap work was immense again. So was Rowan Marshall's work around the ground. There was a passage where Marshall gets the ball centre half back, kicks it down the line beautifully, and then he ends up nearly marking it in the forward line 2 kicks later. The mobility for him to do that is crazy. It shows he's got a tank, but it shows that he's willing to work. You know, you can have a good tank, but if you don't have the mentality to work and bust your gut to get to the next contest, you know, you're not going to get the ball. But most of our team today were willing to bust a gut and get to the right spots. Savage has done okay. That's from Barney. Who's that? I'm worried we'll lose Carlisle for a week, possibly weeks, which will hurt us, but I think we can keep it up for the next few weeks. I don't think we'll lose him. If we lose him, then, you know, then the AFL's got problems. Ben Long to return. That's a good point. Next week, Ben Long is available. So it's going to be interesting to see what we do. Maybe Matty Parker for Ben Long, and then Seb Ross maybe leave Seb Ross and bring Bytel in for a game. I don't know who you drop from the midfield, though, because Jack Sinclair, again, was great. You know, it's his second game for the season, but his output was even better than last week. He was great last week. I thought he was even better today. What was Jay Carlisle about slapping Dan Rampy's hand? A lot of comments about Rampy's hand. Does Ross deserve to come back in? I would say no, but it just depends on fitness and who's available. So we'll have to wait and see. Thoughts on Savage? He did some nice things, but then he did his bombing. He's 60 metre in the sky bombing that I didn't think go anywhere. And the team started to bomb in general, so I'm not going to just pick Savage out, but that's generally his go. I think he might, you know, he deserves to play one more game to retain his spot. But if Ben Long comes back in, who plays a similar role to Savage today, I would pick Ben Long over Savage. So if it's just because of personnel and we've got better players coming in and you're dropping players because of that reason, then that's fair. But, you know, if we're not bringing in someone that's a like for Savage, he probably gets another go in my Jack says only negative was going back to bombing the ball inside 50. Dan says I was impressed with Savage game. I think he showed a lot more desperation knowing he wasn't a walk-up start anymore. That's a great point. Players like Savage, Pine, that if they don't perform, they're out. The depth is there. So when they come in, they know they have to perform, and you can see Savage putting his body on the line, you know, in instances that he wouldn't usually do. You know, we don't see him jumping between 3 opposition players. That's not his go. But those are the things that separate players from being dropped to being kept in the team. So that's great that we have pressure, and that's pushing players to do those things, those selfless acts. The camera work today was worse than Adelaide. Don't know what that means. Hind was a gun. Great last quarter. First 3 was scrappy. That was from Gary. We're just scary. That's from James. It's good to say, you know, to feel like, you know, when we're a scary team. We're going to put teams to the cleaners if they don't perform against us. That's what I love. Hopefully we've had 3 weeks now away from the Freo game. We can rid that of our memory, and now we can move forward and know that, you know, we're starting to get some consistency. We've played 3 games. That's 12 quarters of football. We've probably played 9.5 to 10 really good quarters and a couple of drop-offs here and there. So that's not a bad return. Members, everyone's just hating on Tim Membry for not getting my damn my multi. Ben Kales has jumped in there. Bloody Membry, we were relying on you, mate. That's my mate. We put the multi on with. We've got another one now on for the Geelong West Coast game, so hopefully that can turn around for us. Jason says apparently now there must be a rule about how high you can throw the ball back that still hits the player in the. Sydney was out-coached. Very good call there from Christina. Shane says, how should we go against the Gold Coast? I'd say we go in favourites. We go in full of confidence and we take the game on and play another exciting up-and-coming team who have a lot of dangerous assets that can hurt teams. It's a great challenge. At Metricon, they're very good there. We don't play there often. We don't have a great history there. It's another test for us. If we overcome that, we go into Geelong on Monday night. It's, you know, full of confidence. It's gonna be a great couple of weeks to be a Saint. This is from Cohen. He said, love how we're able to handle the barrage of pressure when we have our lapses. We've done it in the last 5 weeks, and all apart from Freo, we've been able to handle it, which is pleasing. Everyone's loving the word pleasing tonight. Dougal was very good. I agree with that. Excellent. Wilkie again. Our backline is as reliable as it's ever been. You know, we just trust them to do the job always for the right player. We've always handled the opposition's best forwards in a really good manner, and I can't think of a forward that's really gotten off the hook, that's dominated games, that's hurt us. Apart from maybe Tex Walker, who kicked 3, and most of those was free kicks against Adelaide. So, no problem there. Lachlan says 59 in context if they didn't get the cheap free kicks. Bring on Gold Coast. That's from Praz. Fantastic from Christina. Tony says should be 8 wins, 1 loss. I know hindsight is terrible. We should be 8-1. We should be on top of the ladder, but it is what it is. I will take 6-3 any day of the week if you had told me that at the start of the season. So I'm very happy that we're now 6-3 and a good chance of making finals and also a big chance of top 4. Marcus says, yeah, Jakey, you good thing. Where's the wine? Drink up. Oh, it's upstairs, guys. Don't worry. I'll have a few other glasses tonight just to enjoy the win. Stuff the red. Get into the vodka. That's from Jason. Nick Hind, you are a star. That's from Darcy. Patton, Caulfield and Clark are a fantastic trio to have on our side, all under the age of 23. Isn't that amazing, guys? We have 3 locks in the back line that perform week in, week out, and they're all under the age of 23 and haven't played 50 games yet. That's just awesome to think. How many glasses, Jake? That's from Caroline. Just promote gambling from Corey. Not promoting gambling, not promoting alcohol. Just promoting great Saints footy. Very happy with the boys, and everyone watching is obviously very happy. Luke is saying this is becoming one extraordinary turnaround in one preseason. Ratton, the staff, and the recruiters have done an amazing job. Couldn't have worded that better myself. To have one preseason for Brett Ratton to do this, to fix the team, considering last season's problems, the last 5-10 years of issues, he's fixed it in one preseason. It's unbelievable. He's been a gem for us. Everyone talks about the on-field recruits. Brett Ratton is the best recruit we've ever had, the way this is going. And it'd be amazing to see him hold the Premiership Cup. He deserves it. Danny says, when you can cover Hill, Membry, Parker, Ryder, and a few others who are all quiet, puts us in positions like other great teams who never relied on stars only. Great team effort, Saints. Still 3rd in the Brownlow count. Farron says, great win by the Saints. What did you think of Hines' game? I think the only changes next week will be long in for Parker. That's a good call. Long in for Parker. Simple. Keep Ross out for another week. Bring him back against the Cats on a big Monday night game. I thought Hines was close to best on ground. Not only did he kick 3, but he's running. That passage in the last quarter where everyone's tired and he's taken 4 bounces through the guts to take the game on when we could have been conservative and just seen the game out is awesome. I love that we still wanted to take the game on even when the game was done. That is so good because it means that we've got this killer instinct that we haven't had for a long time. We want the game to just keep going. The Dukes is doing great. That's from Mitchell. Considering we melted at halftime against the Roos and the Dockers, we have grown a solid backbone in the second half. That's from Matt. Jakey, you're my hero from Tim. I'm happy to be anyone's hero. I don't think I am, but thank you for saying that. Guy says, hey, buddy, I've done the whole bottle of bourbon tonight. You good, brother? Everyone's on the bourbons and the wines now. Amy says, the way the Saints are playing is the only highlight of 2020. How will Ben Long and Dean Kent fit in next week? I think it's just going to be Ben Long. I think we need to keep changes minimal unless there's injuries or unless a player's fatigued. That's the only thing. We now have 4 or 5 day turnaround, so there's enough time for recovery. It's the next game after that against Geelong that we need to think about, whether we need to rest some stars for that big game. But I think Gold Coast is as big of a game as Geelong is on the Monday night, so it's going to be hard to see which game we balance the ins and outs for. Some great goals from congested stoppages from Christina. The forward goal prowess around the ball ups and the throw-ins was ridiculous. We haven't had that sort of efficiency around the ball in a long time. And credit to Jack Steele for stepping up, but it's also Paddy Ryder, Rowan Marshall, and players like Jade Grisham that are starting to learn patterns of our ruck work. They're not just running and hoping. They know where they're going. They have preset plans. There's such an organized there's such an organised structure to our team in all facets of the game. It's not just the forward line, it's the back line, it's the midfield. Everyone knows their role. And the confidence is just growing from that. Ratton plus our young players who idolise and love him equal a fantastic season for our Saints. I'd like to see Steele and Jones go harder at it, a bit soft tonight, I thought. That's from Billy. Steele and Jones soft. I think you're never going to see that, guys. You're never going to see that. They're always hard at the ball, always ready to take on the game. The deal, breathing in the three-quarter time break seems to work wonders. Did that give you a stiffy, Daniel? No comment there, Daniel. I'm not gonna answer that. I might leave it there, guys. So many comments again. I'm sorry I can't get through all of them. It's crazy to think of how many people are watching these videos and commenting. So I thank you all for spending the time and commenting and sharing your thoughts about the Saints. It's, I started Saints TV 2 years ago, and there's been so many shitty losses that I've had to watch and rant about and complain about. But it makes me so happy as a Saint to come on here and talk about the growth of this team. With Saints TV has commented on, you go back and watch the start of it. There's so many rants I've had to deal with going through shit performances. And we've always known that we've had players that can really perform, but the coach and the belief hasn't come out. This year, the belief is coming out, and I'm excited to see what the next few weeks hold. We've got some big games. We've got Gold Coast, Geelong, and Essendon. 3 winnable games. We could be 10-3 after round 30 after these performances, but it's, week by week prospect, and every week we show something different. We show some more excitement for the competition. We're one of the most exciting teams in the league. We're the highest scoring team in the league. We have the third, I think, biggest percentage or fourth biggest percentage in the competition. We sit in third position on the AFL ladder at the moment. And if West Coast win tonight and don't win by a lot, we'll stay third for probably the rest of the round, which is immense going into Thursday night. So I'm going to leave it there, guys. Thanks again for watching. I really appreciate it. I would also love, if you haven't already, go onto YouTube, Saints TV, hit subscribe. I think we're only 6 or 7 subscribers away from 1,000 on there. Instagram as well, we're on 12,000, and the podcast will be out Tuesday night. It'll be me, Marshy, and Joycey, as always, to dissect the amazing win and to preview the Gold Coast game. So until then, guys, I hope you have an amazing weekend. You enjoy the win, watch the replay plenty, and comment, and I'll respond as soon as I can, and have a great week. But until Thursday night or Wednesday night, whenever it is when I have to preview the Gold Coast game, take care, stay safe, and go you mighty Sainers. See you guys.